What is going on, everybody? It is your boy Nothing But Skills, and today I'm bringing you guys another division video. Today's video is going to be in reference to my last video. I just released everything you guys need to know about 1.8.2, the big two nerfs coming to gear sets. Now, I'm telling you guys, I was reading a lot of your comments, and a lot of you guys said Nomad's done, Predator Mark is done. I just want you guys to know that is not true at all. You will still be able to run Nomad efficiently, and you will still be able to run Predator's Mark. It's just going to take a little bit more skill and a little bit more technique. Now, I will explain to you how to run Nomad, how to run Predator's Mark coming up in 1.8.2. So I'm going to do that in this video. Also, I'll talk about support stations and how they affect each other when you have more than one out. I didn't address that in my last video. And at the very end, I'll give a little bit more detail of what they are doing for pop shotting. So the first things first, let's look at Nomad, guys. So Nomad 6-piece, what does it do? You guys know it gives you that 50% chance to have no cooldown of the path of Nomad. Now, this will change in 1.8.2. Like I told you guys, this will only work solo. This will no longer work in a team. Now, the take 60% less damage for 10 seconds after Path of Nomad is triggered will still continue on in solo or team play. Even with the 4-piece, you guys will have that one extra life when receiving fatal damage. You are instead healed to full health, and this can occur every 4 minutes. Plus, if you have the 6-piece on, you'll have take 60% less damage for 10 seconds after the Path of Nomad is triggered. Now, if you're running solo, you'll still have the 50% chance to have no cooldown of the Path of Nomad. One thing I want you guys to know, I've always thought that Path of Nomad was a solo player build. I love the changes that they did to this build because I still think you can run this in a group. Now, you can't have 4 guys running it like you did before, but if you have one guy who still has the Path of Nomad, so he's going to have one extra life, plus he has that improved Nomad's resolve, and then if he gets that 60% less damage for 10 seconds after Path of Nomad is triggered, you still have a face tanker who can go up in front. If you plan on running 4 Nomads and going rogue or manhunt, this probably won't work for you. But say if you guys are chasing manhunts or you guys are chasing rogues, if you're in a 4-man team and that's all you guys are really doing is, say you guys are farming, and if you see rogues you go chase them here and there, well, one thing you guys can do, if you guys are all still running Nomad in 1.8.2, you guys could all leave the group and then you'll have Nomad's luck. So that's what I'm telling you guys. This is a no-brainer, guys. This build will still be efficient. This build will still be able to work. All you have to do is, if you see a rogue player and you're not with your team, leave your team, go fight that rogue. That way you still have that 50% chance to have no cooldown in the Path of Nomad. So all of you guys who think Nomad is done, there will be no more Nomad. Guys, you guys can still run Nomad. Just depends on your playstyle and what you plan on doing. Now, one thing I do see with this is in last stand and skirmish, I feel that this build might not be as effective anymore since you won't have those extra lives. Maybe they should have did some tweaks where you don't have to wait the full 4 minutes. Maybe you just have to wait 2 minutes for your regular Nomad to come back. I think that might be a little bit beneficial to skirmish and last stand since that's a more fast-paced game and you die a lot, you kill a lot. The way they have it right now, I'm not complaining about it. I honestly think it's really good. This is not a killer, guys. I know a lot of people said, oh, well, people will stop running Nomad. No, people will still run Nomad. There's a lot of solo Nomad players out there. So this time, you'll just have to stay with your group. Every now and then, you'll have to leave the group, go chase the rogues down, and then rejoin the group. So the next big topic we're going to talk about is Predator's Mark. The big thing that a lot of people are upset with is a 6-piece is getting nerfed a little bit, where it says Predator's Mark ignores status effect immunity. That no longer will be there. So that means your immune box should work and the talent adrenaline should work for players who are trying to combat Predator's Mark. But we'll check that out in just a second. What I want you guys to know, there is going to be a way to effectively get past the immune station. So there's going to be 3 things that you can do to actually still be able to use Pred, destroying the box. So when a player does drop the box, so the first thing you're going to want to do is focus that box. So if you look right here, destroy the box and apply the bleed. That's all you have to do. Now, the second thing you can do is use the EMP. EMP will freeze the box for a short time, and that's when you can apply the bleed. The third thing you can do is use a disruptor. So as soon as you disrupt it, it's going to have that symbol above it, and that's when you can apply the bleed. So you can still use Predator's Mark pretty good, guys. Don't think that because now if you stand in the immune box, people can't get the bleed put on them. Yes, if you have a disruptor, that is still an efficient way to do it. Also, EMP grenades work on immune boxes, so that will also disrupt the box. You just have to make sure you hit the box directly with the EMP grenade, or you could just focus the box. So that is 3 different ways that you guys can do this. Personally, I think the best way to do it is run a disruptor. It will disrupt the box the longest versus the EMP. A lot of times you can focus the box, but if if it's 1v1, by the time you start focusing that box, they can put a lot of damage on you. So it just depends. Do you think you can outlast the damage that they're going to put on you, drop the box, and then focus them? Or should you actually hit it with the disruptor and then continue on? Now, in group settings, this will probably be an effective way for you guys to still have one Predator's Mark on your team. You can have someone running disruptor, and as soon as a reclaimer comes out, which will most likely come back, you can hit a disruptor on the box. Then the Predator's Mark could come in and apply that bleed. And it's going to take a little bit more teamwork to actually pull this off. Now players cannot complain about not having a legit counter to Predator's Mark. Not only do you have an immune box, I'm pretty sure talent Adrenaline medkits now given 7 seconds of immunity from status effects should work towards Predator's Mark. So not only does the immune box work, I think Adrenaline might work. We won't know till 1.82 comes out, and that's when we will be able to test this out, Adrenaline. But until then, no one really knows. They did say for sure the immune box will work, but they didn't really confirm if Adrenaline will work. But if they take away that last line, it only makes sense to say Adrenaline should work. Medkits now give 7 seconds of immunity from status effects. So that might be another way for you guys to fight Predator's Mark, and it makes it a little bit more hard for players to use Pred. And don't think that Predator's Mark is not going to be there, because if you effectively combat the box 75% of the time, you should be able to get a bleed on, especially if you have a good team. Now if you're running solo and you're fighting a 4-man team, it might be a little bit harder because they could probably span that immune box, and if they have 4 immune boxes, one person drops it. If you disrupt one, they pop a med kit, they drop an immune box. There's going to be ways to counter it. It's just going to take a little bit more skill. There's going to be ways to effectively run it. You just can't run a booster shot or a pulse. You're going to have to run a disruptor like I have around here. You're probably going to have to try to stock up on those EMP grenades before you guys go rogue or manhunt, because that will help you guys survive. So the next thing I want to talk to you guys about is support stations. So now if you drop a support station and then your friend drops a support station and then another guy drops a support station, before it wasn't always picking the person with the highest tick. Now what I mean by that, if you go to your support station, you're going to see that my healing rate on here says 1,894. If someone had a healing rate one that said 2,900 and another person had one 3,900, the problem with this, it didn't always pick the highest tick rate. So now if someone has a healing rate one for 4,000 because they're higher in electronics, well, that box will supersede all the boxes, so you don't have to worry about stacking boxes on boxes. Everybody can put their box down if they want. People can hold on to them. It's really up to how you guys play. Now you do not have to worry about 2 guys having boxes down and then one box taking over the other box. It will pick the one with the higher healing rate, and then when that one blows up, whatever one is left will take over after that. So that's a big improvement. Now the final thing that we are going to talk about is pop shotting, aim assist. So a lot of you guys know that on console, not on PC guys, on console we do have aim assist. And what aim assist is, say that tree is an NPC and I pop in right here. Every time I pop in, it would lock on that player. There is a thing called Cronus Max that is a modified controller / script that will automatically lock onto the target, and you can constantly do it, so it automatically always lock onto that same target. And people were using that with the Super 90, the SESG, and it was causing a lot of problems in PvP, and people were getting upset. People were abusing it. Well, now when you go in to lock in, the first time you lock in, it will lock in, guys. The second time, if the player moves over here, it won't lock in like it does now. When you lock in, you try to lock in again, the second time you're gonna have to free aim, so you'll be moving left to right trying to hit the target, versus before you used to pop in and say the target moved over here, you pop in. That's what it used to do. It used to move you all the way from here to here just by popping in and popping out. Now the difference is, now when you try to do that and then you try to pop in again, you're gonna have to free aim. One thing I was reading that a lot of people were saying this is going to mess up their aim and they're legit players and this isn't fair to them. One of the lead designers from Ubisoft Massive did come out and say, just to be clear, adding cooldown on aim assist will hardly ever be felt by players not using a third-party device that abuses it. And remember guys, this is a MMO guys. This is an MMORPG, which means that it's always evolving. It's always updating. That's something you guys really need to keep in mind. If changes happen, adapt to them, become better PvP players. I personally think this is a great thing for PvP guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Remember, if you're new to my channel, it's the first time you're watching a video, hit that subscribe button, turn the notification bell on, you guys get notified. Thank you guys again, and remember, if you don't see me in Last Stand, if you don't see me in Skirmish, if you don't see me in the Dark Zone, it is only a matter of time. Nothing but skills is out.